Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. Let's talk about the lunar calendar. Is it for today? The real year and our missing month to restore the true God flow into our lives. Come on. No time. The Guess Who. That's a classical ditty, isn't it? So come on in, brothers and sisters. I'm Hiking Druid, and I've studied a lot of the natural flow, the God flow that's out in the wilderness. I've done long hikes. I've also gathered wild herbs and studied herbs. I've been a health coach for 10 years and helped a lot of people with their weight goals and getting energy in natural ways, and gather my own herbs out in the wilderness and observe natural law, which is all through the God flow that's in the wilderness. So come on, let's talk about this lunar calendar. As it was getting closer to like the new year, I started thinking about this. Amazingly, like what's happening so much, I also started noticing a lot of other people that do videos are have been thinking about this, perhaps because it's the end of the year. But I think Holy Spirit has put this into a lot of folks' thought processes. And so it really doesn't make sense that this calendar that we have doesn't really align to the net. Well, it makes sense from the fact that everything that the cabal type people do, they've done to try to throw off God's natural rhythms in our lives, and separate us from the original uh, frequency of God, so that we don't realize our great potential and who He says we are. So I just want to talk to you about some of that and the ancients and how they use some of our ancient ancestors use this. Um, these old calendars were often based on lunar years, and does it make sense for us to use lunar calendars for these days? So let's get into that. And also, I want to ask you to please like down below with the thumbs up button or the like or the rumble. Give me a rumble, depending where you're seeing this. And subscribe and share if you like this video. Uh, and this will help for more people's eyes to get on these ideas as we are trying to help us grow and help us gain our sovereignty as members of mankind. So this is very exciting time to be alert and aware as the Great Awakening is reaching this amazing speed of growth, and things are being reversed, and the lies, what I call the veil, is being torn, and we are seeing the truth again. Our ancestors used to know a lot about these things. Um, Also, check out the link right below this video, if you would please. You get my newsletter and free guide that will help you and your family keep your immune system strong with some of those herbs I mentioned that I gather myself. They're very uh, available and free if you know where to find them. So check that out and help let's stay strong these days. It's so important for you and your family. Go check it out. And it's free. Come on. You have nothing to lose except for maybe getting sick as often. So, like I said, I've studied herbs for 20 years. I've hiked for more than 30 years, and spent a lot of time observing those natural rhythms that God put into the wilderness as teaching tools for us to learn how to go to these original times. And that's what made me think that, and start to notice, because I've been really becoming more aware of all the lies over the last 20, 30 years, and especially over the last 3 or 4 years, even more people are starting to see these things. And it's becoming like a group sort of awareness, which is really cool. And so there was this calendar in Israel and Canaan that some people call the Gezer or the Gezer calendar. That was about 1000 BC. That used the lunar cycles and helped in harvesting and letting the folks know when they should plant and tending specific crops, things like that. China had a part lunar, part solar sort of hybrid calendar, and in 481 BC. North American tribes used lunar calendars for harvesting crops or hunting and fishing. And one tribe in Western Canada had 2 seasons, winter and summer. They were 6 months each, with an occasional 13th month between the seasons. We're going to get more into that a little bit later. Now, the Celtic calendars are interesting. The ancient Celts, those would have been folks in Ireland, Wales, Scotland, England, northern Spain, and western France. Even a lot more than that of France, the further back you go, and parts of Germany. Anyway, also northern Greece had Keltoid tribes. The Greeks were actually the ones who, I'm going to get off the beaten path though here. What my point is, they were the ones that named the Keltoi. That's why Celt actually has a K sound. There was one of their calendars probably in the 2nd century that was found in France, and I actually found a picture in one of my books of a part of it that was made into, I think, a metal sheet. And you see those pegs there? So they could move day by day. They could move like a wooden peg down this calendar. Up to the top there is a word that actually means darkness, I believe, and that separated, or returning night, and that separated the division of the month into a bright half and a dark half. So that was very much based on lunar, and the lunar. Did I move that too fast? Take a better look at that. No, I always pull those pictures away too quick. This is in a book that's really interesting about the Druids, if you wanted to check out and get more information. Stuart Piggott, the Druids, and they talk about the actual Druids based on archaeology, the Celts, and also sort of the Druids as perceived by 1800s and 1900s, sort of romantic vision of what Druids might be, and also some of the lies that the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar may or may not have made up about them, sacrificing people and things like that. So anyway, their Celtic calendar was a lunar calendar, probably one of the oldest lunar calendars that we know about. And each month, wait a minute, each week had 5 days, each month had 6 weeks, and either 29 or 30 days. I think they went every other month. So one would have 29, then the next would have 30, then 29 days, then 30. They may have dropped 1 month every 30 years to keep things in order with the solar flow. So even this lunar calendar had to be realigned on occasion, just like we have a leap year every 4 years in this Gregorian current calendar. Roman sources said that every 30 years they would do that to keep things in order. So because they always wanted one of their each Celtic month would start on the 6th day of the lunar cycle. 6 is the number of man in the Holy Bible, and that's according to Pliny the Elder, a Greek scholar, which, this is the date of the quarter moon, which is the easiest lunar date to confirm by direct observation. Here you go again. The natural law is observation. This is a big thing I'm trying to teach people about getting back in balance with the natural rhythms. Even in a modern day, you can still balance it by observing those natural rhythms, spending some time out there. So the Celts and Druids, like most of our ancient ancestors, held the moon in high esteem. They observed the god flow and how the stars and the moon influence the seasons, the weather patterns, harvest and planting, even gathering herbs for healing was often done only on specific days or nights and full moons for the greatest efficacy. Now, we've all heard the word lunacy, and it's pretty well known. I know I worked in restaurants, and the bars go bizarre. They get loony on full moons. There's always more fights breaking out and people getting emotional, trying to get the girls, getting turned away by the girls and fighting over the girls. That would be a lot of what was going on. But it got heightened on a full moon, especially if the full moon was Friday night or Saturday night. Okay, things would get crazy. But so the ancient folks knew that this was a time to harvest certain things for healing. There's an interesting example is mistletoe, which is also still symbolic. You hang the mistletoe at Christmas time. This is why it was a great healing herb, and it was also an aphrodisiac, was made out of some of the juice of the berries. So kissing a girl, is for good luck. Ties in with these ancient traditions. Mistletoe is a powerful parasitic plant. It actually draws all the nutrition it needs from the juice of the tree that it's attached to. And the mighty oaks of where the Druids lived and the Celtic people, the oak tree was the biggest tree and was held in high esteem. And so the mistletoe that actually grew into the oak tree was harvested, was thought to be the most powerful of of all the mistletoe that might grow on other trees, like pine trees or whatever. And so it would only be harvested a few times a year, and only with a golden sickle. So you have gold, which symbolizes the sun, but you harvest the mistletoe on a full moon at night. So you're balancing the moon female aspect with the gold sickle with the sun aspect, and you're balancing those together. All this stuff makes a difference. They felt, they believed, they, through what, thousands of years of gathering these things? Anyway, the truth about the calendar and months, even when it should start, has been hidden from us. Look, the OCT in October means 8. NOV in November means 9. DEC in December means 10. So why is December the 12th month? I mean, it doesn't match to our current calendar. It's clear that things have been changed. And with lunar cycles, you'd have a 13th month. I think we'll talk about that more in a minute. Also, for the year to start in the early winter doesn't make much sense, especially in lunar calendars. Winter, everything dies. Winter should be the end of the year. Spring should begin the year. Everything comes back to life and starts growing again. So I think once we sort out these lies and misdirections intended to throw off our true God flow rhythms, the ancient lunar calendar, used for thousands of years, might just turn out to be more accurate and fact-based than the current Gregorian calendar used only for hundreds of years. Something to think about. Or maybe a solar-lunar blended calendar like some other civilizations used. I think Sumeria and Babylon might have had one of those as well as what I mentioned earlier. Or maybe, and now we're going a little more 5D thinking here, time will be changed so much we won't need calendars anymore at all. Something to think about. I'm Hiking Druid. Thanks for watching. Please share and click the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you for watching this whole video. Remember, the creator of all things says, you, all of us, we are all beautifully and wondrously made. You're the apple of our Heavenly Papa's eye. He loves you. Who cares? If he says that, if he says all those things about you and much more, and he likes you and loves you and protects you and wants you to succeed and he wants you to thrive, not just survive. If he says all these mighty, wonderful, loving, beautiful things about you, who cares what other people say about you? Anyone that says something about me that does not align with who Papa says I am, I don't worry about that. So keep strong, keep helping people, try to do some good every day. Do something, do one of your, make sure you're achieving one of your goals each day, and it will help you to be happier, healthier, and stronger. I thank you again. Check out that link for my free newsletter and the free guide, and you'll and I'll send maybe 1 or 2 newsletters a month so that you can get more information about staying in that God flow, how you can find herbs in the wilderness, sometimes even in towns. I've wild harvested food from town, from this little town where I live in northern Maine. So why not find out more about those things and help enrich your learning and your family and keep your immune system strong? It's so important right now. It's like one of the most important things right now. I mean, staying strong. So thank you very much and have a great day. And remember, God doesn't live in time. And maybe since we're all part of God, maybe we don't need to either. All right? I'll see you soon. Love ya. Thank you. Bye.